At the end of the war, the Maine Council of Churches seizes the opportunity to be at the forefront in building the peace, with special attention to children and youth. In 1945, the Council organizes the first World Order Essay Contest. Maine high school students write essays to compete for an expense-paid trip to attend a session of the newly formed United Nations at Lake Success, New York. Boys and girls write for separate categories that are presented before a series of judges. From all the entries, the judges chose 2 youth each year of the contest. By 1954, the Council expands this relationship between Maine youth and the UN by sponsoring an annual World Order Caravan. This caravan engages more than a dozen high school students in the international community. The Council asks the youth to report back to the churches of Maine about their experiences. One of these high school students is named Clifton Ives.
I would like to suggest, if in New York, you should be sure to visit the United Nations. Sure you would enjoy it and be thankful you didn't leave New York without going there.
Early in 1955, Cliff Ives and Dorothy Woods are awarded the Averill Plaque for the best report of their experiences at the UN. In the critical post-war period, the Maine Council of Churches works to strengthen the peace at home in Maine as well. Programs include the Negro Friendship Project and Churchmen's Legislative Seminars, bringing church members to Augusta to engage the legislative process. Even providing translators to aid refugees from the Hungarian Revolution coming to Maine in search of homes and jobs. The Council continues to find new ways to bring religious education to those beyond church walls. Reverend Gladys York begins educational programs for children who are long-term patients at Maine General Hospital. Carolyn Kingsbury travels on behalf of the Council to remote sections of Maine, becoming known to the children she teaches as the Church Lady. By the 1960s, change is again in the air. Maine, like the rest of the nation, is in the midst of great social upheaval. In 1964, the 101st Maine legislature defeats a bill that would ban housing discrimination in Maine. Protestants and Catholics joined together to raise their voices against discrimination. On March 26, 1965, a motorcade gathers strength as it winds through Bangor, Brunswick, Lewiston, and Auburn on its way to the Maine State House. The Council's Executive Secretary, Luther Allen, speaks to a packed legislative hearing on behalf of the Board of Directors.
We call upon our legislators and the citizens of Maine to enact legislation which will ensure equal access for all people to all employment, housing, education, and recreation.
In May 1965, the legislature passes an anti-discrimination rental housing bill, and Governor John Reed signs it into law. Dramatic changes are happening abroad as well. A few years earlier, Pope John XXIII opened the first session of the Second Vatican Council. The 21st Ecumenical Council of the Roman Catholic Church became known as Vatican II. On February 20th, 1966, Maine Catholic Bishop Daniel Feeney, upon returning from Vatican II with a vow to incorporate its innovations into Maine, accepts an invitation to preach at Emmanuel Baptist Church in Portland. He is the first Catholic bishop to preach at a non-Catholic church in Maine. To Protestant leaders in Maine, it is becoming apparent that the Council of Churches that represents only the Protestant interest is too limited. So in 1967, a joint ecumenical commission is created. The commission includes Catholics, Episcopalians, and representatives of the Maine Council of Churches. However, the independence of the Maine Council of Churches as an organization is at risk. Executive Secretary Reverend Phil Palmer does his best to lead the Council in changing times, but in 1969, the Finance Committee recommends to the Annual Assembly that the Maine Council of Churches cease operation in favor of the Joint Ecumenical Commission. On January 18, 1970, Council President Chester Baker announces the plan to terminate the Maine Council of Churches.